Hey guys, welcome back to my video. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to solve this blindfolded. I'm going to teach you in 3 different steps. First, I'm going to do it easy, simple way. Then I'm going to do it the harder way. Then I'm going to do it the hardest way. So basically, it's going to get more and more steps. The first way is going to teach you the most important step. The second way is going to, because this step is going to be. And the third way is just adding tips, which is going to just be a little bit more to memorize, but it's very simple and only one that really is very intuitive and blind for pyraminx. So I'm going to show you, so you're first going to just do something like this. So, and this will be my scramble, I guess. So I would solve it, so I'll show you my piece. So I'll start by showing it right here. So I have a green and red right here, where the green and yellow should be. I'm doing it like this because you can like the blue and green right here. Green, yellow, red, yellow, yellow, blue, red, blue. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a alg to swap free thing. My favorite alg to do it and the best one, right now, it doesn't matter if they're flipped or not, they just need to get into place. So we'd say, if I did this, the alg right here, it would solve 2 pieces. Then I would get it to 4 pieces left. So I want to get to show you how to get a flipped piece. So okay, I don't see a way to get a flipped piece because gotcha, I do. So the alg I'm going to be using to swap most of the pieces, I'll show you. It will swap the alg I'm going to use. It will swap this. I'll show you it from here. What I'm going to do it will swap this with this. So this red of the red and yellow that's in the red and blue would go to it would be flipped in the red and yellow. So it would actually be correct. We will flip it back later. You just need to memorize that this would be flipped when we would do it. But the red and yellow right there, when I do it, is where I'm going to do my first alg, because the green and yellow would end up right here correctly, and then this red and green would end up right here incorrectly, but the red and green over here. So we don't need to memorize all of the flip views, but how I'm going to do alg, it's going to be R, U prime, R prime, U, or we can do that reverse, which would be U prime, R, U, and U, R. So it's R, U, R prime, U, prime, okay, and then it's going to be also U, R, U prime, R prime. I mixed up it, but you can now get it. I'll put the alg up on screen. Okay, so I do the alg, so I've realized that it's going to be a right, so we can say this is a R. We're going to do it, we're going to have our side facing the first side of what we're doing. So this will be an R. So an R. What we'll call that. So then we have these 2 pieces solved. Then I see the best thing I think would be like right here. We would move this. So I'm actually going to solve this red and blue. So I'm going to do I would like to call an L, which would move this down. We're going to move this down. We did our R was this. Our L is going to be, then remember that it's going to move all these pieces all the way over here, all their spots, and we can realize that so what we're going to do, if we're going to figure out, we're going to look at these pieces, if any of the pieces end up solved, we know that there's only one unsolved piece, because there's only one unsolved piece here. If all of them end up unsolved, it's just going to, if we get at least 2 that end up unsolved when we look at it, we know it's going to be all unsolved, so we can just flip them all once we finish the alg. And we also, so we're going to do a flipping alg later. And we can see that only 1 ends up solved by looking at 2. You only need to look at where 2 ends up. So right now, if I look at this green and blue, it's going to end up unsolved. So I'll look at this yellow and blue, which is going to end up solved. So we need to know the green and blue is going to end up unsolved, and the yellow and blue is going to end up solved. And we can't have free flipped pieces. You only have an even number of flip pieces, so it can't be that this green and red ends up unsolved, so we know it's going to be solved. So what we can do, we can predict that all those things, so it's going to be this. So we have an R, L, then we have this weird B. I don't usually memorize it sometimes. And once we do memorize it, figure out where it goes, we're going to know which one's going to be flipped, which is going to be these two pieces. So then we can move them right next to each other. And our flipping alec will be a sledge. So, sledge. What am I doing? Trying to show you it from your perspective. So we're flipping at the sledge, then U, R, U prime. Let me show you it because I'm used it. So U is sledge, U, R, L prime, U prime, L. You do a sledge, U, L prime, U prime, L. So R prime, L, R, L prime, U, L prime, U prime, L. And that's the flipping out. So you would figure out where if you flip, you may have to flip. So, and then that's how you would do it. And that's gonna be that's gonna be one of it. Now we're gonna get to the harder part. I'd say the hardest, not the hardest version, but basically this is gonna be a whole scramble just without tips. So I need to show you this one because you learn the edges. Now you're gonna learn how to do it without tips. This is going to be a pretty easy scramble. I have this already solved piece. Actually, no, it's not already solved. But I'm going to show you. Sometimes, if you can do it, you can predict, look at where these pieces will move so you can get better. But sometimes it's best just to move them using this. So you're going to do what is known as a soon. Sometimes you actually need it in the edges. I forgot to show you that you might need it. If you end up with a soon area where it's like these 3 pieces left, or you may need something like what I call a free swap. I'll show you that later just in case. So I'll show you that in a little bit. But so what you're gonna do? You're gonna do a soon. So what I would memorize is which moves which. So the edges will stay in the same place. So what I'm gonna do? So you can memorize like what these pieces I already showed you. So if you could memorize what's going to happen if you do all those moves. Like, I messed up. Okay, I kind of up with a different scramble. That's even. Okay, so I can memorize that this needs to be an R. So what I'm gonna do when I do the solve, so this needs to go R up, like an R. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just do a regular soon, and then do a R move on it, which would be a U move if you're doing a soon position. So basically you would do whatever, if it's positive, you would do a whole soon, then do an extra move that way. If it's negative, you do a anti-soon, or I call it a soon, I don't know what it's called on Pyra, but you know, it's R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime U, R, U, R prime, or doing that backward where it just does U primes instead. So what I would do, that. So R, L prime, U, R, L prime, U. That's gonna be it. So then I would go R, L prime, so, and it's prime, U, yeah. And then I would memorize where these pieces were, and it would end up with an edge case like last time. You see edges, so I would do this actually would end up without a flip, but yeah, so then, and that would be just, so I'd memorize where these pieces go. Where I'd swap them, doing my favorite swaps because they're best. More swaps like the soon swap, which swaps 3 like this. May need it before the edges. I'm gonna just show you that swap because, or the anti-soon swap. you know. And there's also one more swap, which swaps these edges. What I would do, it's this L for EL, so you do R prime L, R. Now I would do the L, I would do like basically a sledge. I would do a sledge, then I would move it up. So it's kind of like this, so I do a sledge, R prime L, R, L prime. Then I do L prime, U, R prime, L prime. R prime, U, L prime, U, L, U prime. And the reverse is kind of similar. You can do, I usually do L, R prime, L prime, R, the reverse sledge, and I would do a R, U prime, R prime, U. But you can do the reverse of what the other one was. So, yeah, but mostly you're gonna just use this swap. Next, scramble I'll show you. It's just gonna be adding tips, which you can just do by memorizing where tips go where. So if I have these two tips, this is gonna be my unsolved. Okay. Well, first I would memorize this is gonna be a U prime. This is gonna be a L. See, U prime L. The next is gonna be. So since I have those two tips, then I'll do a U move. It's gonna just be a U, same as last time. So U prime, L, U. But it's gonna be using a soon. So, like, yeah. And then once I figure it out, I'm gonna figure out where the edges go. So this goes right here. This would go here, and this would go right here, solving these two pieces. So that's gonna be a L prime. Then it's gonna get just green, yellow right here, L prime. Then we're gonna do this green, yellow. So then this green, yellow is gonna go right here. So then we move it like this. So we have the green, red, green, blue, red. And red and yellow right here, and it actually is going to be one of those weird swaps where it's going right here. But so we have the green, yellow, green, blue, and right. So we figured out which one of these things are gonna swap weird. By swapping weird, I mean so this one is going to actually end up right here, wrong. This one's gonna end up wrong. So that means the green and red is going to red and blue is going to end up right actually correctly. Which, as I can see, it will. So what we're gonna do, just like I predicted, so we do a this. I predicted that it's gonna go there. See, then we would do this. Wait, where? Yeah. I actually accidentally. So this one was a scene I actually was thinking of. I just mixed it up. But then you would end up with this. Wait, I messed up. Don't question me. Well, no, I didn't mess up. It was supposed to end up like this. So then I predicted that it's going to end up like this, so we just do that. And then, yeah. So, yeah, that's how you solve pyraminx blindfolded. I think I explained it well. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to this end of the video.